was trying to put my thoughts together on playing on Parliament Hill, and I think I feel a lot more patriotic when I'm in a forest than I do when I'm on Parliament Hill. I think there's a lot of questionable things that I'm confused about that are happening up here in the current government.
All right, there you have it. Feist, invited by the current government to perform on Canada Day, denouncing the current government on the state broadcaster. All very nice and handy, isn't it? You know what? She's fine to say it. It is a free country, and here on Sun News Network, unlike some other places, we believe in free speech. But is there no day where you can give politics a break, where you can just stop denouncing the government? Apparently not for some. Here's what the old NDP strategist Jerry Kaplan had to say in a piece posted on the Globe and Mail's website. Another Canada Day makes me recognize once again my gratitude for my family for choosing Canada, while yet wondering why my country never lives up to its promise. In fact, it seems to me the promise is actually receding, as the Stephen Harper government seems increasingly isolated in a parallel universe of its own creation. Oh, blow it out your ear, Jerry. Can we not just have a day where we don't denounce each other, where we don't attack each other? Joining me now is Ray Hurd. He's had many careers behind the microphone, in front of the camera, and of course in politics as well. Ray, you know what? I don't think I've ever had a time where, and I disagree with lots of governments, including this one, where I've said, I'm not celebrating Canada Day, I don't like who's in power.
Well, it's a juvenile attitude. Jerry Kaplan, whom I've had sparring matches with going back to the Turner, Brian Mulroney years when he worked for Broadbent, Jerry Kaplan is an odd fish. He's a guy who publicly defends Iran, that fountain of democracy where gays and Jews and women are stoned to death. I'm surprised the Globe gives a forum to Jerry Kaplan to get rid of his venom. And
well, you know, venom, I think, is the right word, and his writings are more like ramblings detached from reality. I have take many issues with the McGuinty government that runs Ontario, but I never resort to the sort of name-calling that he uses to denounce the Harper government. And by the way, we're highly critical of them here as well.
Worse than that, Brian, his main evidence against Canada is the United Nations, whose Human Rights Commission consists of a bunch of tyrants. If Jerry Kaplan wants to denigrate Canada by citing the United Nations, good luck to him, because most Canadians will disagree with him on that. I think most Canadians who can be critical of the government, I am, kind of like this country and the way it's been run by liberal and conservative governments. If Kaplan's people get in, which is Mulcair, the ultimate switch hitter, this country will go right down the tube, and that is the great threat facing us. The threat is Mulcair and Kaplan and people like that.
I don't disagree with you, Ray, that Tom Mulcair, Angry Tom as I call him, would be bad for this country. But I don't think that I would sit there on Canada Day and say, I'm not celebrating, I'm going to denounce Mulcair. Let's have a denounce Mulcair hashtag on Twitter. And yesterday on Twitter, I want to read a few of these out to you, and then we'll get reaction on that. Denounced Harper was trending. In fact, it was going higher than Happy Canada Day, apparently. OMG, denounce Harper is trending on Canada Day. Love my country, says some guy named Kyle Allen. It really tells you something when denounce Harper is trending higher than Happy Canada Day. Patriotic Canadians understand what's important. Here's another one. Denounce Harper. I refuse to celebrate Canada Day this year. This is not my Canada. When Harper is jailed, it will be time to celebrate. And then finally, I think we've got one more. Yes, happy anti-Harper Day, Canada. Denounce Harper because he is secretly building a fascist state under our noses. That's a bit of sour grapes, no?
They have the right to express those opinions as long as they don't incite people to violence. Some of those remarks come close to that. But the real issue is, welcome to the Twitterverse. I was on Twitter yesterday saying that I was distressed and saddened to see Canada Day turned into a political hit show. I got a lot of negative response and a lot of positive response. But the real point is, Brian, we exist in a world where Twitter is given enormous importance by the media, often because the Twitterverse gives the news before the media. So welcome to the new world. I don't think we can police or control it.
No, I don't want to police or control it. I just can't believe that.
There are people who want to do that.
Well, yeah, well, not me. I just look at it and I think, can't you take a day off?
No,
Apparently not.
It is, you know, when bin Laden was captured, I was on Twitter and there's a Pakistani guy twittering the whole story in real time. This is the world we have to live in. But getting back to these people, they are sort of professional socialist and some very left-wing liberal naysayers. They'll never be happy with anything. And the one day you'd expect people to be happy, I got on my bike and I rode the Martin Goodman Trail yesterday. I dropped in at the Gay Pride Festival. People were happy. People were enjoying themselves. They were talking in all sorts of languages. And a bunch of malcontents, led by Jerry Kaplan, are using this day of joy and thankfulness that we have such a great country to take cheap political shots that could have been delayed until today or next week.
You got to ask you about another group of malcontents, and that's civil servants. I remember I was in the room with Stephen Harper, who was Levy Quebec in 2006, just before he won his first minority, and he said, look, you don't need to worry. You get a conservative minority. We're still going to have liberal Supreme Court, a liberal Senate, and a liberal public service to keep me in check. And my colleagues in the media went nuts. Even though, yeah, the Supreme Court was more liberal then, mostly Chrétien appointees, the Senate was liberal, and we all know that the public service is highly activist. Now they're out wearing Harper hates me buttons, and they were wearing them to work. There's free speech, but is there free speech without consequences?
That is not free speech. If they work for the government as bureaucrats, bean counters, fudge catchers, if that's their job, I think they should be publicly neutral. Now, the good news is I have a very close friend in Ottawa, and I won't say what this person's sex is, but this person works, she's a Barbara A, or he's a Barbara A liberal, thinks the best minister they ever worked for is Jason Kenney because he does his homework. So some civil servants are perverse and spiteful, but there are others who aren't. There are others who respect certain limits.
There are many that just play by the book, Ray, and do the job that they're called to do. But these other guys give them a bad name. So
No.
We'll have to leave it there, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to vent my spleen.
About Jerry Kaplan anytime. We'll talk to you again.
Okay.